I'm concerned, with due respect to them, this is a joke. We are driving this vehicle to anarchy.
Okay.
And we must fix the vehicle, get a competent driver, careful, competent driver that will focus on our destination. The inequality in wealth distribution in Nigeria is unacceptable. 350 Nigerians owe AMCOM 5.4 trillion. That is about 15 billion each. So that is bad debt.
So some of these rich men are just
this is bad debt. Bad debt.
Right.
If you take 5.4 trillion and share it to our unemployed undergraduates at 1 million, it will be 5.4 million. And I tell you, from my own experience of giving out 1 million, about 60% of them will make it. That's 3.2 million. And they will equally create a job of an additional 3. You have 10 million people employed. That is how economy works.
Let's go.
Economy doesn't work on giving people money to eat today and then nothing for tomorrow. You are elected to be a resource creator and manager.
I like that.
You should create wealth. You should be able to say, what do we do to save money? Yeah. I didn't print money to save the money I told you I saved.
Yeah.
You don't need to borrow money. Yeah, we have people who say they achieved something when they borrowed a fortune.
Yeah.
And put the state in a difficulty as they were living and are being celebrated. What is the problem of the country today? We are so divided as a nation along tribal, ethnic, religious lines. Who will unite us? Because we're no longer a nation. There's a reason why there's rule of law. No system can function if not for the rule of law. Otherwise, we have a state of nature. The main reason for creation of nations and states is that we move from a law of nature to where there's rules and regulation. So obeying that is fundamental. And I don't think it actually affects the issue of security by obeying the rule of law. Of course, we have a constitution, yeah. We have laws guiding us and everything, and those who interpret that decides that this is the way to go, we should obey that. Every citizen of a country, irrespective of your position, should obey the law. That is the fundamental and core yardstick for existence of any nation. The security is worse today than it was before he came into office. The economy, for me, I said it before, is on a life support because of the amount of debt. That is unacceptable. And using about 50% of our resources, of our revenue, to service debts. And where we cannot say this debt was used for this, but for me it's critical. Our level of poverty have worsened. Most kids are out of school. Unemployment have increased and it's worsening by the day. Of course, you're told that for every minute 6 Nigerians going to debt instead of coming out of it. So the situation is getting worse all over. So the economy, and that is for me, that's my take. Issue of the economy. How do we deal with the economy? Because we have our young people in their productive age doing nothing. If they get to retirement age without anything to fall back on, we'll face a serious problem. If you look at what is happening today in Nigeria, at all levels of government, maybe in 1 or 2 or 3 states, there's no governance. Those who do well in the past and yesterday will miss tomorrow. The reason why they will miss tomorrow is that you use all the time you used to focus on tomorrow and the energy to focus on tomorrow in dealing with yesterday. Yesterday is gone. Even if what they're saying, in quote, is at any contest, we hired you for a particular reason. It's like me, you have a company. Ruben, I've been involved in a company. The company is going down, it's losing profits. Then we hired you, Ruben. And then you put the company into chapter 11 and you're complaining, but we were losing money when we hired you. So we wanted to do a turnaround. Why did we vote for APC government? Because they said the country is collapsed, the country is broke, they will change the economy, they will make Naira 1:1, they will do this. There's a list of what they said. What we want to hear is what you promised. Where are we? Ruben, I've been in government. I've been chairman and director of so many quoted companies, and also I've been a governor. When I went into office, I promised the people something. And for me, it does not matter. That was why even when I see people arguing and wrangling about National Assembly, I was worried. Even I was a governor with 30 PDP member house. No single person in the House of Assembly was from my state. But that's not what I was hired to do. I wasn't hired to deal with the state assembly. Just like the present government of APC, he's not hired to deal with National Assembly. There was a promise to the nation. The country is broke. We'll make Naira 1-to-1. We're going to bring down the price of fuel. Nigeria will be more secure. This is what we hired you for. So we want to see effort in that direction. Even if we are not getting 100% result, we want to see 100% effort. And it's not in that direction. Why is all this waste of time for everybody? As far as I'm concerned, with due respect to them, this is a joke. If you look at nations that have done well, I always want to compare ourselves with China, for example. Why do I compare ourselves to China? Because it has a huge population of 1.3 billion. China in 1980 had a per capita of what you used to measure. One of the biggest things you used to measure a country's progress is per capita. China per capita.
GDP.
Okay. GDP per capita. China GDP per capita is $193 in 1980. Nigeria was $870. Today, China GDP per capita is $8,063, which means they've been able to pull it to over 4,000%.
Wow.
Nigerian GDP per capita is 2,000.
Well,
we just done 200. We just done 200. We just done 200%. If only we have worked hard and it's at 1,000%, it would have been 8,000 something. Our overall GDP would have been about 1.6 trillion today. We won't be in the mess we are. And I can give you so many other countries: Thailand, South Korea, everything. I can give you where they are, where they were then. Even in terms of savings, that we just say, oh, we're doing this, our foreign reserve have gone up to 40. That is the main, celebrating what? When China, in December 1980, their reserve is $10 billion. Ours was $10.5 billion. Today, they are 3 trillion. We're celebrating 40. Let's get serious. This is a country. I can tell you, this country has every potential to be one of the best by the year 2050. All we need to do is to change the present trajectory and focus on tomorrow. There's so many, and what we are going to ask people to do is not rocket science. It's been done everywhere in the world, easily. And I can say, even in a small Anambra state, very small, if I can serve a state for 8 years, we're not owing workers, we're not owing anybody, we're not owing any contractor, no supply and everything. And Ruben, the day I left office, I said everywhere, the banks are here in Nigeria that are left. In Fidelity Bank, $56 million, 12 billion naira. In Access Bank, $50 million, 12 billion naira. In Diamond Bank, $50 million, 12 billion naira. There are banks here in Nigeria. All the MDs have come and said, yes, the money was there, and we're not owing any supply, anybody, no pension. If you have a situation where, Ruben, you have a car that has an engine knocker, even if you change all the drivers, they won't do anything. We need to have people who have capacity, who understand where we need to take this nation to.
Your Excellency, what would you consider the first step to take to change the current trajectory of the country?
We need to look at those zones who are contesting. We need to bring in managers of resources, creators and managers of resources, not sharers of resources.
Okay.
And those who waste this. Our current cost of governance all over all the level is not acceptable anywhere in the world, because you do everything based on your income. This business has to operate as an income. You don't go and operate like as if you're maybe some other bigger facility. That's how you can grow. What is happening in Nigeria now is that our cost of governance is even higher than what you can get in any part of the world. I always use this instance of government, and we keep comparing ourselves with nations and institutions we shouldn't compare ourselves with.
Okay.
Virtually every state in America is bigger than Nigeria. California, for example, is 2.6 trillion GDP. That's 6 times Nigeria. But I can tell you that it costs more to keep a governor in Nigeria than to keep a governor in California. If Jerry Brown is seen even in cover of 3 cars, he will lose his post the next day.
Correct.
So these are issues that
the Prime Minister of the Netherlands goes to work on a bicycle.
Everywhere, even the Britain, we all fly every day. If they see that the Prime Minister tomorrow in a 5-car convoy, I don't think you will remain the next day. And I can tell you the cost, it can go on and on and on. These are things for me. Let's face governance. All these distractions, there's too much distraction. This shouldn't be a headline. A headline should be something more serious. Ruben, we cannot be talking about giving people 5,000, we're giving people 20,000 to start a business. We're doing this. If you go to other countries, what changed the dynamics is supporting small, medium businesses.
Yes.
In Nigeria, they are 95% of our companies like they are in China. But look at our loan portfolio in banks. Their position is less than 5%. The inequality in wealth distribution in Nigeria is unacceptable. 350 Nigerians owe AMCOM 5.4 trillion. That is about 15 billion each.
So
that is bad debt.
So some of these rich men are just
this is bad debt. Bad debt.
Right.
If you take 5.4 trillion and share it to our unemployed undergraduates at 1 million, it will be 5.4 million. And I tell you, from my own experience of giving out 1 million, about 60% of them will make it. That's 3.2 million. And they will equally create a job of an additional 3. You have 10 million people employed. That is how the economy works.
Let's go.
Economy doesn't work on giving people money to eat today and then nothing for tomorrow.
Let's go back to politics.
Yes.
You were one of the first persons to defect from one party to the other when defection was not yet popular.
No, I didn't defect. I just peacefully, you can leave. When defection is a different word. Okay, go on.
Well, I'll still come back to that when we discuss Anambra state politics. But I wanted to ask you, what do you think of this gale of defection going on from one party to the other?
Well, for me, I have followed politics globally. There's nothing wrong in moving from one party to the other, as long as it's for the interests of the nation. For me, we should focus on what are we going to do to change where we are today. Where we are today is not good. It's getting worse. Okay. We have a country where our population is growing at twice our GDP growth. The consequence that even the 2,000 per capita that I mentioned, in few years will be lower. And when it is lower, the economy will be worse. We have a country where 13.5 million young people are not in school. That is bigger than over 50% of the countries of the world in population. You can't have that, and you cannot have all these problems we have today. So let's focus on governance. Whether people want to change from party A or party B, it has to do with the human being. That's why I said, let's look at all those who are contesting and hire somebody who is competent, who have capacity to deliver what we want. If he wants to be changed, if he wants to be an independent candidate, so be it. But we need to get it right.
Well, in your own case, let me go back to Anambra. Once upon a time, you said you will be in Abga, the Abga for life.
No.
Then later, you moved to the PDP.
People keep changing that trajectory. I said, as long as I remain governor of Anambra State, I will never go. The pressure for me to leave Abga was when I was governor. And I maintained, as long as I am governor of Anambra State, I will remain in Abga. And I did it to the end. And when I left, it was not me calling anybody name or anything. And one day, God in heaven knows how I left. And
well, I asked that question.
So for me, I don't know. For me, I don't even bother about anything. Ruben, if I'm in a system where I think it is no longer working the way I want, I'll walk away. I once had a company in this country, which I'm sure you know, I own 40% of it. When I found out they were not running the company the way I want, I went to the people, I came to a board meeting and said to them, I'm leaving. It doesn't matter, I will only lose money. But this business is no longer being run the way I want. And I left. The same thing. When I found out that people were doing politics not the way I say it, I go. And it can happen tomorrow. If I find out that politicians, which is happening here and there, are not doing the right thing, the purpose of being in politics is governance. And the purpose of governance is to do the right thing for the society.
No, I asked that question because of your special closeness to the late Chief Odumegu Ojukwu. By leaving Abga, do you feel that you betrayed him? You
no,
betrayed
he's
Ojukwu?
not a founder of Abga.
Yeah, but he was a father figure.
No, he's not a founder of Abga.
No, I said father figure.
At the same time, he insisted you must be in one party. Never. I can say it, people can claim anything. His position is that wherever you are, serve the people. And that's what I do. And I can say it categorically anywhere, that when I was when I had opportunity to serve the people of Anambra State, I did my best. I can, till today, Ruben, we still have the best road network in Federal Republic of Nigeria. In education, we're still #1 in Federal Republic of Nigeria. In health, I've gone to hospitals in various other states. I've never seen one in school. We are still the least in terms of deaths. I didn't borrow 1 kobo. But I just said what I left. Tomorrow, Ruben, they're commissioning a facility in Shagamu, International Brewery, the biggest brewery in Africa. Anambra State is the single highest shareholder in that facility. I invested in it over $20-something million. It's worth almost 100 today. That's what government should do.
Very good, very good. So what are your plans? What are your political plans? Do you intend to run again? And if not, why wouldn't you?
For now, what I'm doing is, let's get the right person. Because we are driving this vehicle to anarchy.
Okay.
And we must fix the vehicle, get a competent driver, careful, competent driver that will focus on our destination.
Okay.
We cannot be trapped in process of yesterday because we are moving forward. We can devote a few time for yesterday, but we need to move forward. What is politicians are doing now is who is going to contest, who is going to have power. That's not what politics is all about. What it is about, how do we get the right people to do the right things?
How did you lose grip of the politics of Anambra State? You and the governor, your successor, Willie Obiano, you seem to be a dagger strong.
No way.
What is happening between the two of you?
I don't know where you get the facts.
No, I read the stories in the papers.
No, that's wrong.
He has been accused you of all kinds of things.
No, what was he accused me of? Can you give me one?
Well, he accused you, for example, that he had to pay you for him to become governor. He accused you that you were not as successful a governor as you claim, and your media man, Valentine Obianya, has responded to some of those.
Ruben, nobody have accused me in Anambra State.
No, I'm saying the governor.
No. I live in Anambra State. And nobody in Anambra State will you meet that's Anambra indigenous, even when he doesn't like me, will tell you Peter Obi was not successful as a governor. It's impossible. Come, let's walk the streets of Onitsha. I live in Onitsha. And as you know, I was a governor who was not traveling with routine of securities and everybody. And till today, it remains the same. Come, let's walk the street. That's how you know. And I live there. It's not as if I finished governing. Anambra State is the only place that I have a home, have a house called my own. If you see any piece of land or house belonging to Peter Obi in Abuja, burn it down or take it. If you see one in Lagos, take it. Why have a flat in Lagos? I live in Onitsha. Not even anywhere, Onitsha. Due to my own house there. That's where I live. And I'm always there. I came from there yesterday. Can show you my boarding pass. I came from the last flight from Asaba yesterday. When I finish, I go back there. Who will live there if we didn't do well? Every road you see in Onitsha today was constructed by me. If you cross the bridge, go ask anybody. So nobody can tell you that you see children doing well today in America. It is me. I changed the school dynamics. They were number 26 and 27 when I came into office. And I've just called the banks where I left money. That is how you know. So it's not a question of this. Every secondary school in Anambra State, for example, have 2 buses. I bought them. I bought one in my first tenure. I bought the other one in my second tenure. No, they've not had any since I left. They've not had any since I left. Just to give you one example. I bought computers. The highest amount of desktop computers ever bought by a government in Africa was purchased from us by HP through Leo Stanley. He said it the other day in the news. 30,000 computers paid up front. Innocent, I paid him 5 billion up front to supply us like 1 year before he delivered 1 vehicle. So these are records, they are not there. So nobody will have accused me of anything. And let me tell you, you're wrong. Since I left as governor of Anambra State, nobody, not Anambra State government, directly or indirectly have paid me 1 naira. I've not received any
Why?
form.
Are you not entitled to pension?
I don't know, but I'm saying I've not received anything. When people were bringing us of laws to say, governor, this, governor, I told them, when I live here, I live here. Never received 1 naira. I want you to put it on record and make that.
But you still haven't answered my question.
Yes.
What's the relationship between you and Governor Willie Obiano?
We have a good relationship. He's the governor. He's elected to focus on to serve for the people. Not my relationship with him is irrelevant. He's elected. You see, this is where we get it wrong. You must focus on what you elected, women. That's when I was in office. I can tell you, I and most of the elites are not in good terms. But I wasn't elected. You have seen me say it every day. Even my own wife comes back and says, I met Ruben, I met this man, he's not happy with you. I said to her, listen, my job is not to make people happy. There's people in the entertainment industry whose job is to make everybody happy. Me, I'm not happy myself. I'm elected to fix school, fix road, and do this. You must focus on what you're elected to do. He's not elected to have a good relationship with me. He's elected to do the roads, fix the school, make Anambra state work. For example, he gave an example that some people are exporting bitter leaf and ogo worth of $5 million. We want to see the farm. We want to see this is what is elected to do, not to keep it to be happy or do this thing. I've just told you in issue of saying I paid money. I said I have never received one kobo from anybody as an ex-governor. I'm not looking for one. My focus is how do we make Nigeria work? How do we get a president who will focus on Nigeria? How do we get a vice president who and to do this selection, we need to go to the Chinese model, where it's not you coming up and saying, oh, I'm this, I'm speaking grammar. Let's go from local government to state to this. Even in America, you look at the history. When Clinton was elected president, it was because of his performance in Arkansas. Let's go and look, where did this man come from? What did he do? What was his performance when he started from here? Here we just hire people because they're able to do one political machinery and then we start wondering, when the man has taken over, why did we do this? Why did we do this? Let's look at all the promises that.
Okay, quickly. Still along this line.
Yes.
See, governors usually in Nigeria have problems with their deputy governors. When the governor leaves, he tends to have a problem with his successor. I've tried to cite the example of Obiano and Obi, which you don't want to accept, but you also have Ganduje and Kwankwanso, you have Buhari and Jonathan at the higher level, and so many examples like that. What do you think is responsible for these conflicts?
Ruben, I still maintain that I do not have problem with Obiano. My problem with anybody in government is when you're not doing the right thing. A governor recently invited me to campaign. You know, that I should come, he's still to campaign for next year, and he was owing salary, and he was owing pension, and he had a lot of debts. And I said to him, let me be honest with you, I don't see how you can be owing people. If I had to be shocking, a chief of staff of a governor was asked, I listened to it in the telly, that you're owing 18 months salary. He said, no, it's wrong. They're only owing for 11. And you're campaigning for another one. No way. This is sheer madness. You cannot fulfill the least obligation, which is paying salary. I don't consider paying salary as an achievement. That's not what. If people are elected to pay salary, like it's being celebrated today, people are elected to pay pensions, then we might as well just don't have governors and just pay the people directly. It will even reduce the cost of keeping the governor. You are elected to be a resource creator and manager.
I like that.
You should create wealth.
Right.
You should be able to say, what do we do to save money? Yeah. I didn't print money to save the money I told you I saved.
Yeah.
I don't need to borrow money. Yeah, we have people who say they achieve something when they borrowed a fortune.
Yeah.
And put the state in a difficulty as they were living and are being celebrated. I want us to celebrate people based on, you came here, you met 1 naira, you increased it to 10. That's what I want to see. What is the problem of the country? When you want to hire a CEO, look at your problem. What is the problem of the country today? We are so divided as a nation along tribal, ethnic, religious lines. Who will unite us? Because we're no longer a nation. It doesn't matter his age or time. We need somebody who can unite us. The country is insecure today. Who has the capacity to deal with security issue? We have an economic problem, which you can say is fueling even our security problem. Because you can have 13 million, 13.5 million out of school children, and you have security problem. You can have millions of unemployed youth, and you have security problem. So if you look at Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, you can see that as the economy continues to grow, all those security problems they have continues to reduce. It's a simple logic. That way, you need to hire somebody who has, which of them have a background of running a business. If a man has not created wealth, he can't manage wealth. Which of them have run a business before? And where have they worked before? So we can look at their background. That is what is critical. I said we need resource creators and managers. The only thing I can tell you is that issue of governance have nothing to do with age.
Okay.
The best state in America today performing is California. The governor is about 80 years old. It has nothing to do with age. And even the best economics in the world that we're looking at, whether it's China, India, that is doing well now, none of their leaders are above 65 and below 65. So whenever people say, oh, not too young, show me what you've done, even in your young age. Even as we talk, all the people who are there now were young when they started. We were young when we became governor. This country has always been used by young governors. You know, even today, the youngest governor is an unmitigated disaster. So
who is that?
I don't know. You go and check whoever is the youngest.
No, but you know him.
No. Just check who is the youngest. You find that it's a mitigated disaster. So you cannot use.
Are you talking about the Kogi State government?
I'm not talking about anybody. I said go and check who is the youngest. Even in the 3 youngest are failures. That's the thing. So you cannot go and tell me that somebody is a governor and in state only 23 people passed WAEC. Less than 100 sat for the exam.
Right.
What are you saying? You should be worried. And you're talking about not too young to rule or not too old to rule. We want people with capacity. Age for me is not.
I get the impression that you are not so enthusiastic about people like Shore and so many other young people who are saying, look, it's our turn. We're young. We can take charge.
These are all my friends. And I can tell you, Fela, Moralo, these are first-class friends.
Okay.
And for me, what they're doing is right. They're only helping to ensure that we'll get it right. But personally, I should say, yes, start somewhere. Let's see how it is. You can go and govern a state and showcase what you're going to do in that state. Nobody, not even in America where the people refer to, not even where people are referring to Macron and say he's younger. Go and look at the history of France. Over several years, France, you can't compare France with Nigeria. But in their several years, only Macron, just one, came at that age. Even at that, he was a former managing director of Rothschild Bank. They are one of their famous bank. Was the managing director.
Yes.
Became minister twice in planning, so people could see what he's doing. So you just can't come from anywhere and start speaking and say it's your turn. And we tested you. No. It won't work like that. I have to believe that they can go to a state, perform. You know, there's a process. You just talked about Pope or Bishop or anything. Ruben, you can't just walk into any church today and become a bishop. At least they have to see you start preaching in a small church.
Correct.
Before they can make you a pastor. Correct. Then you become a bishop.
Correct.
So people can just come from nowhere and say, okay, I'm the bishop of this place. Well, if you want to be a pope, you have to be a process. Become cardinal, become this. And for me, the process is far more fundamental. And that's what Nigeria is missing. We just wait. Last minute, they bring one Ruben and shouting Ruben, and we go Ruben. And at the end of the day, all those who brought Ruben will be complaining. But the way the people who are shouting Ruben.
That was where Peter Obi dropped a bombshell at that time. This interview, you listen to this. Let's be honest to ourselves here. Are you really telling me that Peter Obi forward, Peter Obi, Tinubu, Atiku, or whoever that is going to contest, when you put them forward as you want to hire somebody to represent your company, you want to hire somebody as a CEO of your company, when you listen to all speaks that you hired them before Peter Obi, no. You're not hiring somebody because of his capacity in terms of beating people up to be part of, to come and patronize your company. No, that's not the purpose. You don't have to. When you go for an interview, the questions they ask you, they are not asking you questions based on your physical, like your aggreroism. How many people you can beat up for them to surrender? How many people can, no. It's what you just listen to. The purpose vehicles. What do you have for this company? How do you plan to make this company grow? We are suffered in the hands of the previous CEO or the previous MD of this company. We suffered. This company lost a lot of money. Now we want to recover those money. We want to progress. So how do we make sure that this company do not go bankruptcy? This company do not collapse? What is your vision? How do you plan in moving this company forward? Is what you have listened to. It's coming from a company that is coming from a background, a verifiable background of handling different, managing different companies successfully. Now the thing is, like I said, that one is not even arguable. You see, or then you cannot choose these people before Peter Obi. Peter Obi will definitely be number one. You choose him before all this. The thing is, in 2027 election is around the corner. Is what we are all talking about here. How do we make sure that Peter Obi wins this election and is being sworn in 2027? We do not want the same mistake to repeat itself again. Do you understand? We do not want the same mistake to repeat itself. That's why we are here talking about it. What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Are we sure that Peter Obi will be able to sworn in? If you ask anybody, can Peter Obi win 2027 presidential election? The answer is yes. Peter Obi will win the 2027 election. But Nigerians will put caveat on it that, hey, Peter Obi will win. Can they give it to him? They said, no, they're not going to give it to him. They're not going to swear in him. He's not able to defend the vote. His vote. And how do you expect him to defend the vote? That's why we are Nigerians, patriotic Nigerians who want change. That we all want change. We are to go out, vote, and defend our vote. You don't expect Peter Obi to be everywhere at the same time, every polling unit to defend his vote. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is it. We all need to defend our vote, vote and defend it. I do not want to come back here again after 2027 election and start complaining about bad government, bad leadership. In fact, to begin with, you're not even going to call Peter Obi a politician. He is not a politician. He's a leader who can lead. He's a leader who can lead. To an extent, when you listen to him, many times he tells you how he was able to govern Anambra State when he had opportunity to be their governor. He delivered excellently. That one is still there. And the money he left in office are then excellent. No governor has ever done that. Because he did that, some governors were even mocking him. Like, hey, he be Jew now, he be Smalley, you don't know. I will leave money for office now. We don't chop money, Nigeria money. You will leave one for office. Leave one for who? Your successor. For you. You don't need money with that. He does not need Nigerians' money. This is a state money. He does not need it. He has his own personal money. And he has been doing that. He has been using this money to do whatever he's doing. He doesn't. So what are we saying? I do not want to sit here after 2027 election and start complaining about bad leadership. I want to sit here and celebrate with you that Peter Obi has won and be sworn in as the president. If Peter Obi wins, that means Africa wins. Peter Obi win 2027 election and be sworn in. It means Africa, not just Nigeria, Africa as the whole wins. You begin to see changes. If Africa succeed, if Nigeria succeed, Africans succeed. That's it. Don't joke with that. Very important. You see, people saying Tinubu, we know, that's why we are all talking, that he is a master of election rigor. Look, electionary, in terms of free and fair election, Tinubu does not conclude. Atiku does not conclude. El-Rufai does not conclude. Or the planning of Rotimi, it does not conclude. You cannot see another Peter Obi. Peter Obi is Peter Obi. You cannot get another person of Peter Obi. If there is any other person you can use to replace Peter Obi, please write it on that comment section. Be it the past governors, present ones, senators, ministers. If there is anybody you can use to replace and say, okay, Peter Obi cannot do it, this person will do it better than Peter Obi, please write it on that comment section. I'm not talking about somebody who have influence to influence all these bad boys, Agberu, to disturb you on the road, to stop you going to your job. No, I'm talking about somebody who is competent to protect you, to make sure your job is being secure. If you do not have a job, to make sure that you have a job, to make sure that your job is secured. You can go to your job and come back and be safe. Sleep at home, close your eyes while you sleep. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about somebody who has the capacity to stop the vehicle you are driving to work, to say you did not pay this amount of money, you are not going to get past this road, go back. I'm not talking about, that is not the way to grow an economy. No, I'm not talking about somebody who will come to your wherever you are managing and shut down to say you have committed no offense, but because of hatred, because of whatever reasons, because of jealousy, and decided to do that. No, I'm talking about somebody who has the capacity to unite everybody, this country. Somebody who is going to lead and not lead us astray. Somebody who is going to unite us. Somebody who is going to bring development. Somebody who we're going to be a leader that every other person look onto. That's what I'm talking about. People will say, yes, the election, Peter Obi or Tinubu is now he has the power, he's there. How do you expect? How can you defeat Tinubu? We can defeat him. Now the thing is electoral reform. We are all advocating shouting, talking about electoral reform, which I like a lot of people. We talking about it. Peter Randy advocating for that. Hey, I tell you this for free. Even if we have electoral reform, by God's grace, they will answer us. They give it to us, sign that into law. If that is being signed into law, is it guaranteed that INEC will not still come out and do otherwise and talk about glitches again? If you sign that, that is being signed into law, and again he says because of the influence of Tinubu, he has the capacity to influence the INEC. But if we have INEC chairman who is not being moved by their threat, by their whatsoever, and decided to do the right thing because he is too, he could see the state of the nation that the country is breathing, and decided to give this election to the rightful winner, Tinubu does not come close in 2027. Nobody comes close. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's how it should be. We should all come together as we advocate for electoral reform. Let that be signed into law. We still continue on that day. Go to your polling unit, vote, and defend your vote. And we are all ready to defend our vote. Simple. Very simple. Even Peter Obi decided to go solo today and vote. A lot of Nigerians will vote for him because he's the man. There's nobody, if not Peter Obi, there is nobody to replace him. No, you know, you have two options. You say, okay, if this person does not work, okay, no worry, we have another person who is going to do it better. If not Peter Obi, somebody else could do, but he's never going to do it better than Peter Obi. We are still, that one will still going to be managing. Oh, okay, we could not get the right person. We could not get the best. We could not get the best. Okay, we decided to go for this. No. You cannot get the best when Peter Obi is still alive. You can never get the best when Peter Obi is still alive. He is the best. Take it or leave it, he is the best. This is not a situation where you wanted to go and buy a car. You know this is the brand that you wanted. This is the quality of a car that you wanted. Because of money, you do not have money to buy that. You decided to go with what your money could afford. At the end, you start complaining. You don't like this facility. You don't, even if whenever you drive that car, you are not happy for yourself because the qualities of those things that you wanted is not actually what you wanted, what you got. But based on what you could afford at that time, you just decided to manage. Actually, this car will carry me, go your this, I'll go, I come back, no problem. That one is managing. You are managing, but you are not there. You are not. You do not have the best, but you have what you want at the time. But you do not have the best. This time we want the best. Anyways, I don't know how to explain it again, but I think I said a lot. And what do we need to do? We all need to come together 2027 and vote for this man and ready to defend our vote. Do not allow anybody to deceive you. Please, what do you think? Share this video and please follow for more.